All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday. And we had the folks from Weil Winery here from Germany, from the Rheingau, in the store here. And some fabulous wines. Let me tell you, after my first trip to Burgundy, to Germany, I was just blown away at the quality of not only the wines, but the people there, the producers, just incredibly gracious, opening up some wonderful old bottles from their cellar, all very thankful that we had made the journey to come and see them in one of the world's most famous wine-growing regions. Well, several of the world's most famous wine-growing regions. Some of the longest continually operating wineries in the world are in Germany today. Some of the history of these properties go back 800 years. Well, Robert Weil doesn't go back quite that far, but they make some of the best dry Rieslings that are sold in this country. That's a trend that you see in Germany today. They're not into sweet wine anymore. Like, the most famous wines in Germany still the Riesling Spätlese, the Auschleses, the Trockenbeeren Auschlese. These wines have a lot of residual sugar, but because Germany is such a northern region, they have wonderful acidity, so it just works together. That sweet and sour power effect that you get in Germany, even though you got a lot of richness, a lot of sugar in the wine, also a lot of acidity, so it cleans things up and leaves your tongue salivating for food. All right, well, the first wine up, the 2012s, we have the Riesling Trocken, and they've changed the rules a little bit, and they've got different classification. This falls into the Gutswein, which is pretty much means domain classification. And as I mentioned, they're one of the leaders in dry Riesling. This wine has got your typical green apple, lime citrus, no so kind of fresh rock and slate minerality there. Really bright and fresh on the palate with that zesty lemon lime, citrus and green apple, and nice mineral lace finish, chalk and white flowers there. Very good little wine at $24. A great example of dry Riesling. How can you tell it's dry other than the word Trocken? It's 12% alcohol. All right, as the alcohol level goes down, the price goes up. I don't get that. Well, the concentration goes up in these wines. And this wine, the tradition, Riesling has 10% alcohol, so a little more power in the wines from the Rheingau than the Mosel. And this one's got a similar bouquet, that green apple, really fresh lime, citrus, a note of honey and white flowers in this wine also. And also a little bit of that slate-like minerality that you get, and a little white pepper spice here also. Nice and juicy wine on the tongue with that white peach and green apple fruit and tongue-tingly acidity leading into a long finish. A little bit more concentrated and rich here, and a zesty mineral laced finish here. Notes of that white flowers and spice at the end. An excellent tradition Riesling here from Robert Weingut at $24. Same price, and I may have got that wrong. Anyways, the Cabernet tradition up next. Even more residual sugar here. That's the old term Cabernet. You see Spätlese. These are levels of ripeness that the wines are picked at. And again, if you look at the alcohol rating here, 9%, you can see there's going to be a little more residual in this wine. Also lower yields in the vineyards they use for this. This wine's got a lovely focus in the nose, green apple, melon fruit, white flowers and lime citrus, nice creamy texture on the tongue with layers of that sweet tree fruit and a firm hand of acidity balancing things out, leaving the tongue refreshing and leading into a long finish. Excellent juice at $33. All right, the Riesling Spätlese, Heinrich Godfrenberg. Another reason why these German wines are a little bit difficult to sell. They're hard to pronounce. Unless you speak German, that is, and I don't speak German. But anyways, this is the Hill of Counts, so a very famous vineyard site here, and it's been around since the 12th century. They've recognized it as a famous vineyard site, otherwise known as Grosse Lage today, which means kind of Grand Cru, and wonderful focus and concentration here. This one's $100 a bottle, man, but you know what? You definitely get the potential to age in wines like this, more so than any other whites anywhere in the world, and that is why these wines are expensive. This wine's got a lot of richness here on the nose, peach and lime citrus, green apple, pretty white floral nose, really rich bouquet of aromas, even bigger on the second day. I keep all my wines to the second day, and wow, the intensity in this wine really coming out. German Riesling's incredibly resistant to oxidization. These wines need to be decanted. They need to be open for a day, 2 days, to really hit their peak. These are wines that'll last 20, 30 years or more in your cellar. Lovely intensity on the palate, just layers of juicy fruit, a long, intense finish that just seems to go on and on and on. Most excellent juice. Like I said, priced accordingly at $99. All right, and then on to the Riesling Trocken, Heinrich Turnberg, and this is This is one of the premier cru vineyard sites. It's not a Grand Cru vineyard. 2010 vintage, a great vintage for the Rheingau. Very good structure in these wines, so lots of aging potential for 2010s. Really lovely focused bouquet here, lime and green apple fruit, pretty floral notes, that distinct mineral components you get from wines from the Rheingau. And the total production with this property is 60,000 cases. They're 100% estate grown, and almost all the vineyards are right around the estate, making this fairly unique. And this vineyard, the Turnberg, I guess it refers to the tower on the hillside and the structure that, I guess that's what Turnberg means, tower or something. Anyways, a high amount of slate in the soils here, and you notice that mineral-driven edge to the bouquet there and on the finish. This wine's got a lovely, rich and creamy texture on the tongue with piercing acidity that holds everything together. Most excellent juice, and for my money, 57 bucks. I liked it just about as much as the Grosse Lage wine, but everything from this producer is excellent. Highly recommended. That's what we had from Robert Weil. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.